get started in the interest of time. So for those of you new to this initiative, the STEM Learning Ecosystems Community of Practice, supported by TIES, which you can find at stemecosystems.org. This will harness the power of business and industry, funders and foundations, K-12 schools, higher education, and more to find solutions to common problems and build thriving communities. The SLECOP is focused on being an inclusive STEM community that champions access to innovation, opportunity, equity, and lifelong learning. So we're so excited to introduce you to some pretty great people here to talk to you today. Firstly, I'd love to thank Evelyn Van Til for suggesting this webinar. Evelyn is Strategic Partnership Manager at American Student Association, Assistance ASA. ASA is a national nonprofit changing the way 15 million Gen Z teens learn about careers. ASA has partnered with Science Near Me to connect more kids nationally to STEM events and activities. Today, we're focused on how Science Near Me can amplify ecosystem events and programs to a wider audience, including kids in your ecosystems. So, without further ado, let me introduce you, our featured speakers. Darlene Cavalier is a professor of practice at Arizona State University's School for the Future of Innovation in Society and a senior global future scientist, Julianne Wrigley, Global Futures Laboratory at ASAU. Professor Cavalier is the founder of SciStarter, a popular citizen science portal and research platform connecting millions of people to real science they can do. Founder of Science Cheerleaders, a nonprofit organization comprised of current and former NFL, NBA, and college cheerleaders pursuing STEM careers. Co-founder of ECAST, expert and citizen assessment of science and technology, and co-founder of ScienceNearMe.org. Darlene, tell us more about SciStarter and the inspiration for this powerful platform.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. I apologize to everybody for not being on camera. As I explained, we had a family emergency in London, so I'm doing what I can, but I did not want to miss this opportunity to share information about Science Near Me with all of you, because I think you're all going to be key to helping us achieve goals and hopefully vice versa. So Science Near Me is a website that is funded by the National Science Foundation, in essence, to help connect many different ways of engaging in science, those opportunities. Typically, they tend to be bifurcated by the kind of activity or geographic location. So you might find citizen science opportunities on SciStarter. You might find maker opportunities on the Nation of Makers. You might find science festival events on the Science Festival Alliance website. And then many, organized by museums and so forth. So the idea behind Science Near Me was to make it very easy for people to find many different ways to engage without knowing that they have to go to a million different sites. So Science Near Me at its core is basically a referral system that helps people quickly find events that your partners organize. They could be from museums, they could be from festivals, any way that people can actually engage in science, technology, engineering, or math. We want to be connected to this system. The beauty of Science Near Me is that it aims to reduce some technological infrastructure costs and labor. And that's because when an event is tied to Science Near Me, it's also linked to many different partners. And we'll get into this a little bit. Emily will show us how some of this works. But that prevents the need from having things have to be added to multiple places. When it's updated in one place, it carries over to everywhere and every website that's connected to Science Near Me. The other reason why Science Near Me is funded by the National Science Foundation is because it is the first time we get to look at really unprecedented data in understanding pathways of engagement. Where do people find these opportunities? How do they move between different ways of engaging? What does it mean when they do move between a maker event, a science festival, a citizen science event? What are they learning? Is their learning increasing? Is their identity changing? Are they changing behaviors in some ways? Well, the easiest way to understand that is to first understand patterns of engagement. And this is not just a pipe dream. We actually have a model to follow in SciStarter. That's exactly what SciStarter does in the world of citizen science. Now we're able to connect the SciStarters of the world together through Science Near Me. So that really covers some of the research questions, and there's really interesting research questions. This was developed as an innovations and in development grant from the National Science Foundation, which is sort of a fancy way of saying a proof of concept that is high risk. And we really had a lot of scope creep, which that's what we do. You know, we saw opportunities to do more work in the limited amount of time that we had. And so that's why you see Science Near Me that's more than just a couple of geographic locations, more than just a couple of partners, which was how it was originally designed. What we need to do now is expand that out. And we found a very efficient way to enable many, many, many more partners to connect into Science Near Me and really benefit from all the partnerships that are part of this. It'll make much more sense when you start to hear from my colleagues, Karen and Emily, who I'm going to toss it over to now.
Thanks so much for that, Darlene. I will now introduce Karen Peterson, who is the founder and CEO of the National Girls Collaborative Project, a large national network serving youth programs, providing resources to encourage interest in STEM and STEAM. Currently, 33 collaboratives serving 41 states facilitate collaboration between 42,500 organizations that serve 20.2 million girls and 10 million boys. Karen, I know NGCP recently celebrated its 20th anniversary. How has NGCP grown and adapted to meet the needs of educators throughout its history?
Thanks so much for that question. Well, we began because there really was no support network for educators 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago is before Google. Before Google. It's kind of hard to think about that, right? And so it was difficult for educators to find resources, to find exemplary strategies, right? To be connected to a community to support them. And so as we've grown, we've employed more and more digital tools, and we've also found ways to help connect educators to free resources, right? By being involved in efforts like Science Near Me, which you're going to hear more about. So educators need today exactly what they needed 20 years ago, right? The great thing is that there are more and more high quality resources. We just need to connect them to it, because educators don't have time to read journals and to do all the research. So that's something that NGCP does for them.
Thanks so much for that, Karen. Thirdly, I'd love to introduce Emily Early. Emily is a senior program manager at the National Girls Collaborative Project and manages the community of partners for Science Near Me. Prior to her work at NGCP, Emily held positions at museums and other nonprofits, developing and managing outreach and professional development programming. Emily, please share an effective outreach strategy you've seen in practice.
Sure, thank you so much. I think one of the most effective strategies I found in my work at the National Girls Collaborative Project and also in my past work, and that has been most successful or important to me, is really focusing on leaving adequate time to develop partnerships and to develop connections with people. We live in such a fast-paced world, and our work is fast-paced, right? And I think building real and authentic relationships takes time. And it's not something that we can put a timeline on, or that we can expect to have the exact desired results that we might go into it with. So allowing that time for flexibility, time to meet people where they are, and coming in without hard expectations has always been at the core of what I do, and at the core of this project as well with Science Near Me. So we're excited to tell you more about how we try to meet you where you are, with this project and provide multiple avenues to connect with Science Near Me.
Well, thank you so much. So we have an incredible panel, and we'll dive right into just having them tell us a little bit more. And over to you, ladies.
Thank you. I think Emily's going to share some slides. And Darlene said a little bit, but I'm going to ask Darlene to say a little bit more about our goals. We can move on to the goals slide. Emily. Darlene, do you want to say a little bit more?
Oh, sure. This is really summarizing, what I said earlier is that the idea here, especially funded by the National Science Foundation, is for us to have evidence, some way of looking at actual data that shows pathways of learning and engagement. So how do people participate in informal experiences? One thing that's not on this page, and we may see it later, is it also gives us an idea of a landscape analysis where opportunities actually don't exist for many people. And so an unintended wonderful byproduct of this is the ability to see the supply and demand. Where are people searching for opportunities? Are they finding them? I think that's going to be really helpful for funders in the STEM ecosystem world. And we'll see an example later of exactly how one state is using Science Near Me precisely for that.
Thanks, Darlene. Let's go on to the next slide, Emily. And so we talked a little bit about this. Science Near Me is a free website that provides people with a searchable database of STEM opportunities. I put the link in the chat for you to explore, but we're going to do some screen sharing and do a sort of deeper dive in just a moment. Next slide, please. This is a leadership team for Science Near Me. The Oregon State University STEM Research Center is leading the research. Of course, Darlene talked about the very important role of SciStarter. We have COSI, the Center for Research and Evaluation, doing additional research on the pathways that people are choosing as they decide to follow their science interests. ASTC, Discover Magazine, the Science Festival Alliance, and then the National Girls Collaborative Project manages the community. Next slide. So we put this slide together just to give you sort of spotlight. These aren't all of the partners in Science Near Me, but it highlights some of the partners in these specific categories: museums, festivals, and networks as well. And you can see that we have, as Darlene mentioned, many geographic areas represented. Not all geographic areas represented, but many. And as we said, this website is still in beta. Do you want to say anything else about the current partners, Darlene?
No, other than, just to reiterate a little bit, the initial plan was to look at just a couple of partners. And so I guess I'm just forecasting that if you start poking around Science Near Me, you're going to see some data gaps. Hey, how come I'm not seeing things happening in Chicago? I know there's a lot happening in Chicago. That's because technically it is a pilot project and we have a finite number of partners that we've started working with. Thank you.
Perfect. And now I'm going to turn over to oh, right. Sorry. This is a research slide. Actually, Darlene did a great job talking more about the research, and that this is a specific grant from NSF that's focused on research. And the Science Near Me website is really the vehicle for helping us do the research while also providing a tremendous service to the community. Okay, now I'm turning over to Emily to talk a little bit about the benefits.
Thanks, Karen and Darlene. I will say in terms of the research, if we have time at the end, we can look at the, Darlene mentioned the kind of data points that the research team is using to study how people are using Science Near Me and connecting to STEM events. And we can actually look at some of that data on the website in real time. So that's an amazing resource. We wanted to talk a little bit about some of the benefits that exist for you if you were to participate in Science Near Me. We really take pride in offering broader exposure for your events and programs through Science Near Me. So the goal is to allow you to share your events and programs to a wider audience across the country or in your kind of geographic location. And we also try to amplify your events and programs. We highlight events and programs happening through Science Near Me on our social media channels. We try to reshare any events that you share and tag Science Near Me in. So the goal is to continue to share and amplify anything that you're doing for your communities. We also allow for multiple ways to connect events to Science Near Me, which I'm going to talk about in more detail in a moment. But that includes and is not limited to a customized version of Science Near Me that is freely available to each ecosystem, to all of our partners, and that we call an exchange. And I'll do a sort of deep dive on that. And then it also allows you to see what other STEM organizations, what your colleagues are doing and what they're providing for their communities. And we try to foster collaboration between partners and offer a lot of ongoing support for anyone who partners with Science Near Me. And then I talked a little bit about this. Darlene talked a little bit about the data analytics that you would have access to. As a partner, you would have access to a data dashboard that features all sorts of amazing details about the people who are engaging with your opportunities. And you can see that at any time through a partner account. There's also site-wide data that our research team is using that we can show you, and that's freely available for anyone to look at. And then, of course, as a project team, our ultimate goal is to support you through your use of Science Near Me. So we offer a community, we offer webinars about quarterly right now to support you and to provide folks with updates about Science Near Me and provide a space for folks to talk to each other about what you're doing. We have some great resources like a social media guide and other tools that we provide as well. So I wanted to talk about this exchange that I mentioned, which is a customized version of Science Near Me, hosted directly on your site. This would allow you to display opportunities that align with your location and community interests. You can see a screenshot there, but I will show you both the Science Near Me site and then an example of an exchange in just a moment. But the exchange is basically a mini version of Science Near Me that lives on your site. And you can choose a geographic location that you're interested in. Some have a statewide exchange, so they might show opportunities across an entire state, or could pick a smaller area, could be a zip code. We can customize that however you'd like. And this would allow your partners, or if it's just for you and your organization, but for the ecosystems, probably you and your partners, to add opportunities directly to your exchange on your website. They don't have to go through to Science Near Me to add anything. And then anything that's added to your exchange on your site will also auto-populate into Science Near Me. It also allows you and your team members to manage these opportunities. You can approve requests and look at all of the opportunities in your exchange. It's completely customizable, so you can change the colors, you can make it look however you'd like, and is really ideal for organizations that are part of a network and want to display STEM opportunities from a variety of partners or organizations directly through your website. So here are a couple of other versions of an exchange. We actually have one at the National Girls Collaborative Project, which you can see up there on the right, which is called Connected Girls and is for opportunities for girls and their caretakers. And then there are quite a few other exchange examples there. I'm going to stop sharing the slides and pull up a version live that we can take a look at as well. And then I'll also walk you through the Science Near Me site and just how to generally use it. Okay, here is a live version of a Science Near Me exchange. This is Alabama STEM Council's exchange. They are a STEM council for the entire state of Alabama. And their exchange is branded, they've named it STEM Near Me. So you are freely available to change the name of it, make it your own. They have a logo here, which you can see, highlighting STEM Near Me, a description of what it is. And then if you scroll down, you can see here, this is the exchange that's embedded directly on their website. So folks the public that comes to their website can look and see all sorts of events happening. This is across the state of Alabama. But as I mentioned, you could change it to be just a specific area. It wouldn't have to be statewide. And then folks, of course, in Alabama can drill down to somewhere closer to them. They can add in a zip code. They can search for specific events. And then any partners that the Alabama STEM Council has can add their opportunities directly to this exchange. And anything added to the exchange also auto-populates into Science Near Me. So it allows those partners to just come to one place that they're familiar with to add opportunities. And then it would allow anyone else in the state of Alabama who's looking for those opportunities but might be on the Science Near Me website to see those opportunities as well. I'll just pause and see, Darlene or Karen, if there's anything else you want to say about the exchange before I move on to the website.
Well, there's a question that I'm answering. I'm in the process of answering for Gwendolyn, which is yes, that's exactly right. This can be added to your existing website. So the fact you're building one now is great timing.
Absolutely. And we do have some other options which I can talk about if you already have a calendar of events on your website and you'd like to connect that with Science Near Me. But this is something that's available and can go directly on your website, any website. We can help you figure out how to connect it, but it's a pretty simple process.
We actually have a question, how do we add the exchange to our website? And that's something that we walk you through. It doesn't take us very long, but we do need to sort of have a conversation with you to identify the technology that you're using. But it actually only takes us about 10 minutes. I hate to say that, but 10 minutes to create one of these and have this operating on your website. And Emily, I don't know if we said this, but this is all free to you. There's no cost, and it easily fits within any sort of existing website. Yes, we also have a widget. In fact, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So there are sort of 3 ways to connect to Science Near Me. The exchange is the most sort of independent, where you actually have it living on your website. But we'll talk more in a minute about the widget version as well.
Awesome. I also just want to, if there are other questions, we can continue to answer them, but I also just wanted to show the website real quick. I skipped doing that a few minutes ago. So here is the overall Science Near Me website. I am logged into an account right now, but the public can use the website without an account. If folks want to create an account, it's great because they can save opportunities, they can log opportunities or events that they've attended. So there are some added sort of benefits with an account. But anyone can use the site. You can search for opportunities. You can search for a specific opportunity or program, or for a theme or domain. It also geolocates. So right now I live in upstate New York in Saratoga Springs. So it's locating to Saratoga County for me. And is pulling events that are 50 miles away, but you can, or within 50 miles, but you can drill down closer if you'd like. You can also change this if you were traveling to if I was traveling to California or somewhere and wanted to find events there, you could, of course, look in other areas also. You can look by date. If you scroll down, it's showing me some suggestions for events near me. And then there are some activity types that you could choose to click on here, citizen science, other activities to find themed activities near you. I'll go back to the slides unless anyone has a question about the website or about exchanges.
Well, there's a question about how to add their events to the website, but I know you're going to cover that when we get to
Yep.
that slide. So we'll keep going.
All right, let me pull the slides back up here. Okay, so there are multiple ways to connect your events with Science Near Me. The exchange is one of those options. If you have a website and you want to embed that calendar on it, then any opportunities that you or your partners add would automatically show up in Science Near Me. So that is one option. The other options, we do have an API connection, which is an option for organizations that already have a calendar of events. If you're happy with that calendar and you want to stick with that rather than going the exchange route, we can provide you with our API information. And if you're not familiar with how to set up that API connection, we can help you through that process as well. We also provide a WordPress plugin. So if you happen to use WordPress to host your site and you have a WordPress calendar already on your website, then we can help you set up a plugin that will just automatically connect your events. When you add them to your calendar, they will automatically end up in Science Near Me as well. So the API and the WordPress plugin are really great because you don't have to duplicate processes, right? So anything that you add to your calendar on your website will automatically get added to Science Near Me. And then the last option here is we do have an opportunity form. This is good for organizations that just have a few opportunities a year, or you want something that's low technology, very simple. Once you are a partner and you have a partner account, there is a form on the website that you can fill out and just automatically add opportunities that way. Are there questions about those processes that I can answer?
Thanks so much, Emily. I was just wondering, to the audience, what comes to mind when you hear about this and how you would implement it? And while we have everybody in the room here, so we could kind of talk through how this might work for you. Are there any questions?
Absolutely. Pull the slides down.
Oh, we have a question. What is the partnership application process like? Emily, do you want to talk about it's not really an application. It's more of a form, right?
Correct. So it's very simple. It's not actually an application process. We would love to have you and your events in Science Near Me. So the only thing you need to do, and we will send this in a follow-up email so you have, we'll figure out how to get this information to you. But the only thing you need to do is create a public account on Science Near Me, which is just a couple of questions to create an account. And then you can request a partner account. So there is if you were to scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's on the home page, there's a place to request a partner account. And then we receive an email with your information, and we will follow up with you and figure out how to connect your events in the most effective way for you and your specific situation. I think
should we show that? Can you show that?
I
part
can.
of Science Near Me?
We can also put the link in the chat, which
I'll do that if you want to just show the page. And then we have a question about data reports. So I think it's great because we can show the data dashboard.
I can do both since we're going to the website here.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay, so to create or to request a partner account, as I mentioned, you would I'm logging out, but you would click on this. This is the homepage. You would click on this, create an account. There's just a couple of simple questions here. The email, username, you'll create a password, and then your zip code here. Once you've done that, you'll have just a regular account. And then you can scroll down here to the bottom where it says add your opportunities to Science Near Me. And you can see those options that I talked about, the API, WordPress plugin, the opportunity form, and then the exchange, of course, is also an option. And you can click any of these buttons, request a partner account. It will have you log in if you haven't, and then you just fill out a quick form telling us a little bit about your organization and what you're interested in, how you're interested in connecting. If you don't know how you want to connect yet, that's okay too. Just fill out the partner account request form, and we will follow up with you and figure that out with you. So the best thing to do is just create a regular account, request a partner account, and then that automatically sends us an email and we can follow up with you directly. The other thing here that we want to show, and this is related to the data that we've talked about, is this data overview here. This is data for the entire site for all of Science Near Me. So once you become a partner, you can also see specialized data for any opportunities you or your partners have added to Science Near Me. But for the entire site and for all of Science Near Me, you can see here, there are some different options here at the top. You can see opportunity information. So there's nearly 45,000 total opportunities in Science Near Me right now. You can see how many of those are in-person or online events. Down here, you can see opportunities by attribute, by domain. There's some keywords here, STEM, ecosystem. And
Something's
then
going on with the Florida Panthers. That's pretty.
Yeah. Not sure why that has come up. You can also see providers down here are SciTech Institute, which is in Arizona. They currently provide the most opportunities to Science Near Me. And then this is a pretty cool function here. You can look at this Map Explorer, which will show you opportunities across states. As you can see, Arizona has the most here. You can also zoom in and click on a state. I won't go through all of that right now, but and see more specific in that state what's going on with opportunities across Science Near Me. You can see museum is the kind of top location here. Regionally, you can see citizen science. If I go back, engagement data here, you can see how many visitors have come to Science Near Me. Again, if this was your specific organizational data, then this would look a little bit different, but you could see how many people have viewed just your events that you've added. How many have clicked through from that event directly to your website or to your partner's websites, depending on what is linked. You can see if people have saved your events or added them to a calendar. There's some keyword searches here. Also have audience, demographic information like sex and age, ethnicity, education, children, household income. And then down here you have by state, engagement by location.
Emily, we have a question in from Ebony about wondering, in terms of research, can the data be overlaid with communities in need, like rural poverty areas, etc., census type tracking?
I don't know that we have that option, but we are in beta, which is an important note to make, that if there's anything, if you join and are looking at the data and there's some sort of feature that you're interested in or anything like that, then we're definitely open to ideas of how to improve this and how to make connections like that, if that's of importance to you in your community.
Yeah, and
Lo-
definitely with this data set that we have here, we can overlay it, right, with other data sets. So this is definitely something that we can do if we have a request. And it's something that our researchers are looking at as well.
Fantastic. Looks like data is a big part of this. Gwen from Bridgeport, Connecticut is looking to use it that way as well as I look at the chat.
That makes sense.
And I think Darlene mentioned this, but it's really helpful if you want to do a landscape analysis, right? If you're looking at, I mean, these are the programs that are in Science Near Me, but it does give you an indication of activity as well.
And the more events and opportunities we get in to Science Near Me, of course, is going to improve this data and hopefully be able to help you see where in your area or your state where there are those gaps and things like that. I'll just quickly kind of show you these other two tabs. There's a traffic tab. You can see how many unique visitors have used the site over the year. Referral sources, we have a lot through social media and our affiliates right now. And then this domain insights is a pretty cool resource. I think there's a name for this. Karen or Darlene, step in if you remember, but this kind of graphic, I think there's a name for it. But this shows that sort of the way people are interacting with events across domains in Science Near Me. So you can play around with this and see that people who viewed an out of school time program then made their way to a citizen science opportunity and how those pathways have started to form here.
Yeah, Daniel put, it's called a chord chart, and be very careful with this chart. I went into this chart and an hour passed. It felt like a minute because it's so fascinating, right? For those of us that are interested in how people engage in science.
And it's very beautiful too. So
Yeah.
fun to look at.
Thanks for the caveat, Darlene. So don't be alarmed by the drop in traffic. This is fantastic. Any more questions, any ideas on how people want to implement this? Any thoughts? What comes to mind for everybody?
I was actually just going to jump in. This is Darlene's voice. One thing about, as I'm looking through the data analytics, Emily, thank you so much for doing such a great job and articulating a lot of this. And it just shows too, like a picture definitely is worth 1,000 words. The partners that we work with are incredibly important. And one example is Evolve Me. If you're not aware of this program yet, Evelyn, I'm going to kind of put you on the hot seat now. But what we look at, because we're constantly looking at the data from the research standpoint too, and that is actually serious. The drop in traffic, obviously, we want to see it sustain and go up, but we have a bunch of different interventions that we're trying to see which one of these results in sticky traffic to the site, people coming back to the site, not just because we paid to boost an ad or XYZ. So, but the partnerships are very important. They actually shape the demographics of the site. So our work with Evolve Me, which is a tool that works with, I think, middle school and high school students, and they point them to different opportunities to do things that actually can be translated into a portfolio they can use for college applications and then some. Very interesting reward systems and so forth. So when Science Near Me is one of their partners. So when those students come over to Science Near Me and complete different tasks, and so for them, it's very simple. Create an account, find things you could do near you. That triggers back that, okay, they did what they were supposed to do and they get their reward there. We actually could see a shift in our demographics to a small percentage up to 33%, something along those lines. Daniel can verify for us, Hispanic. We saw the average age drop. We saw, of course, the education levels drop because they're younger. They haven't finished high school yet. But it was really just, I guess, very clarifying for us to see the role of the partners that we bring into this and how that actually shapes who we're reaching. You know, this is a data machine. And for us to be able to see the output so quickly from the partners that we're working with is pretty amazing. So that's all. And Evelyn looks like she put some information there on Evolve Me. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that. Anybody have anything additional that they would like to add? Questions? Comments? Concerns?
Can I add something else in case people are still wondering, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get so much approval. I don't want to change what my website looks like. I don't know if this was made clear, but one thing that is very easy to do and to test out is to actually create another page on your website. So let's say it's, we'll use Amazon. It's Amazon. You would use amazon.com/ whatever it is, science near me, science near you, whatever additional thing. So you're just basically building a page. And that's one that you don't need to publish. If you want to see what this is going to look like and experience what it's going to feel like and how it interacts, you can do that behind the scenes without publishing that page. And it will not take long for you to work with us and get it set up on your page. So that's what I would recommend, is reaching out if you'd like to be a partner. Go through the process with our friends from National Girls Collaborative Project, get it set up, create a page that you don't publish that you can see. Daniel's always available to help, and just see, like, you'll have something to show your directors and others who you might have to get decisions from, to say, here's what it is. Is this something we want to go public with? Here's what we would need to do. And here's the benefits. But it's not hypothetical. You can actually do this behind the scenes. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Darlene.
I echo that. Thank you so much, Darlene. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much, Emily. It's so exciting to see how when we connect the dots, those data points and that visualization tool, it just pops. It's amazing. So I'm truly excited, and apologize for my voice, but recovering a bit from COVID, but really excited to see the power of what we might be able to do in the ecosystems, and helping build more capacity to share the programs and events and all the pieces that are already ongoing, and just get it to more people.
Thanks, Evelyn. We're looking forward to working with all the ecosystems. I put our email addresses in the chat, and we're standing by, ready to work with all of you.
Follow-ups will be sent to all the attendees. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any last minute housekeeping things? We have a convening coming up in Chicago. We will be sharing that information with you. But if there were any other additional thoughts, Emily, Karen, Darlene, that you'd like to leave our audience with,
I just had a question about from someone who really wants to get going, and really,
sure.
and what I really want to do is just emphasize, create that partner account, because when that partner account comes into us, then we'll reach out to you and we'll move forward. That's sort of our communication process. So create an account, request a partner account, and then you'll hear from us. And we really do follow up. It's sort of a concierge service. We work with each of you to make sure that Science Near Me meets your needs. So request that partner account first.
Yep.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everybody. We so appreciate you being here. Super grateful, and look forward to you all using this powerful, powerful tool. To our guest speakers today, thank you. We appreciate it.